just doesn't work that good against Ultras and Roaches. What he really needs is more Immortals. Looks like the forces have hopped back into the Nidus network and are gonna pop out of the network over here to the north. Mystic Prime is not going to end. He's gonna continue this relentless attack against Cheetah, and it looks like we are in store for some kind of a base race here, ladies and gentlemen. Mystic Prime is just keeping the assault on. He's got more forces down here. He's researching adrenal glands. He's got more Ultras pumping out. It looks like one hatchery gonna get taken out. I'd really like to take a look at the economy. Mystic here on one base, really oversaturated. Same for Cheetah. He's also on one base as well. So right now, anything could possibly happen. Psionic Storm just to deflect the Zerglings away. Really nice from Cheetah. And this is what you do not want to engage. This is a very, very strong Protoss army. That is max, ladies and gentlemen, at 195. Mystic is also near max as well, but the Stalkers with Blink can really evade the Ultras all day long. And what Mystic's got to be careful about is the Psionic Storm landing on his Zerglings. That can put an end to his day real fast. Looks like a lone Ultra is here, just a lone Ranger going at it inside the Protoss main. More warp gates warping in, and meanwhile here is the big encounter we have been waiting for. The Stalkers engaging the Ultras running in. Psionic Storm laying down Carpet Storm all over those Ultralisks, and it looks like Mystic is going to be able to push this Protoss army back. He's just got too many Ultras, and the Zerglings flooding in for garbage duty, and the Ultras have just made mincemeat of the entire Protoss ball. That has got to be GG right there. There is not much that Cheetah can do. All of his Templars recycling into Archons to try to salvage something out of that encounter, but really not much he can do against max or near max upgraded Ultras, +3, +2. Queen even using the transfuse ability. Actually, it is currently +1, +2 weapons for the Zerg melee forces. And keep in mind, these Nidus Worms are still positioned in very, very good positions for Mystic Prime to keep the assault forward. It looks like there are some Ultras popping out of this northern Nidus Canal, and look for Mystic Prime. Whoa, he's even bringing in Queens here to pop down some creep tumors, and he's gonna run those Queens right back in. The creep tumors here are going to help immensely with the Ultras and their mobility for the entire Zerg army in general. And it looks like right now Mystic Prime has absolutely complete map control. He rules the Protoss homeworld right here, the Metalopolis skyscrapers, with an absolute iron fist, and there really isn't much Cheetah can do. He's gonna lose his gold expansion. The Ultras have complete map control. Cheetah here trying to warp in some Templars. He just needs, oh my god, he needs Immortals. He cannot continue to warp in these Templars. This is not the correct tech choice for our Protoss player today. And what is Cheetah going to be able to do? The Ultralists are just rampaging what remains of these gateways and warp gates. It looks like Cheetah is trying to rebuild what he can. He's got Archons now coming out. Archons actually, believe it or not, are relatively good against mass Zerg units, and they're pretty good against Ultras as well. But it looks like Mystic here is going to attack the warp gates once again, and if he can kill off all these warp gates, this should be GG for Cheetah. Cheetah here trying to rebolster his army before he re-engages. He's got 154 worth of supply of Protoss army, and Mystic Prime here at 165. There is going to be another massive battle. Psionic Storm warding the Ultras away, and it looks like another Nidus Worm gonna be used for evacuation yet again. Oh my goodness. We have seen multiple uses of the Nidus Worm today, ladies and gentlemen, not just for offense, but also for defense. Using that Nidus Worm to evacuate the Ultras when they were surrounded by the Protoss ball to keep them alive to fight another day. Just absolutely incredible play from our Zerg player. I just don't know what the Protoss player can do short of getting different units. He needs Immortals so badly to deal with what he's up against right now. Possibly even could go for carriers or something different. But here we go. I had to take a sip of water right there because this game is really starting to get quite epic. 40 or 32 minutes into this game, we still have Nidus networks positioned in very key locations for the Zerg player to make assaults happen. He's also securing a 4th expansion. Looks like Cheetah has somehow snuck a probe into this southern 6 o'clock base on Metalopolis, and this could be the counter, you know, kind of like a taste your own medicine to the Zerg player, because with this proxy pylon, he can actually warp in a ton of reinforcements from all these warp gates, or scratch that, there's actually only 4 warp gates remaining. The 2 Zerglings are actually withering this warp gate down. Cheetah here has got to be careful. He doesn't want to lose those gateways because that's all he's got left to reproduce his army. Mystic Prime here bringing in yet another Nidus Worm below or between these 2 Protoss expansions. Looks like Cheetah gonna bring back all of his Protoss forces to kill off that worm before the forces could start to just come out of that that esophagus. And my goodness, if the players right now are not sweating, I know for a fact that I am sweating really hard casting this game right now. It looks like Mystic Prime gonna come in once again with a ton of Zerglings and Ultras. He is gonna go straight for this Protoss Nexus right now, and he is probably going to take it down. Yet another victory for the Swarm today, ladies and gentlemen. And it looks like Cheetah gonna come in with his Templar to try to storm these Ultras back, but Storm is just not the spell he needs right now to deal with all these Ultras. He needs more Stalkers, he needs more Immortals. I can't say it enough. These Ultras are just gonna hold this entire base. There's no way Cheetah's gonna be able to run up this ramp with all these Ultras. Looks like another Nidus network gonna be used for evacuation once again. Great play from Mystic Prime to get the Ultras away before the Protoss player could run up and start to do work on that army. It looks like another worm's gonna pop up, but this worm is probably just gonna get eliminated real quickly. And I'm keeping my eye on this proxy pylon. Really want to see what happens as we take a look at the income tab. 800 for the Protoss player who has somehow, some way managed to stay alive in this game. I just don't know how, but by some miracle, he's facing off against Ultra after Ultra after Ultra, Nidus Worm after Nidus Worm, but he has managed to stay in this game. So he really, you got to give credit to the Protoss player. Currently, even with the Zerg in terms of income per minute, just a little bit lower in terms of harvesters. Looks like another Nidus Worm has popped up just in the heart of his main base, but really, does he care? It looks like he's going to pull back some of his forces. But here's the thing. Every time he pulls back his entire main army to deal with one of these worms, another worm pops up in another location. And that's got to be annoying for the Protoss player because ideally, he needs to split his army up to deal with this, but you don't ever want to split up your Protoss ball. But here we go, another massive engagement. Looks like Mystic, though, gonna fall back to the Storm. Just the Storm way too painful for those Zerglings, and without the Zerglings, the Ultras have a hard time getting in range. So, wow, my goodness. Let's take a look at the army tabs. 173 for the Protoss player who has once again killed off yet another Nidus Worm. For the Zerg player, Mystic, he is currently at 181, so almost near max. His Ultras are actually really weak, but he's just got so many of them. I'd like to see him max out his upgrades. He could use some more upgrades. Melee and Carapace. Looks like an Ultra and a pair of Lings continuing to ravage this natural expansion, and really all the warp gates have been taken out for the Protoss player. He's got a ton of cannons to cover this final remaining mining base at the main. This is all that Cheetah's got left, and he still hasn't really gotten anything out of this robotics tech. What I'd like to possibly see from the Zerg player right now would be some kind of Broodlord tech. Looks like he is getting a Spire, so look for that to be a possibility. But Cheetah right now, Cheetah has absolutely no warp gates. He cannot warp in anywhere. He cannot bring in any more reinforcements, whereas Mystic has got 199. He is max. He's got about all the expansions mining towards the south. This hatchery looks like it's bleeding from some earlier attack, but all the hatcheries mining right here in this crescent formation for the Zerg player. And it looks like Cheetah gonna push forward. He needs to take out this gold expansion. He needs to end the game soon rather than later because he's way too far behind. And he needs more expansions, he needs more income. It looks like he has secured these last 2 mining expansions, so right now he's on 1 dying base. He's trying to bring in more warp gates, but he's got this base up here, so about 2.5